It's too bad that God has had sometimes to move us from fear. But he's done that sometimes. When he raised his voice on Sinai, he knew the people would be scared. And quaking in their boots, they promised the Lord all that the Lord has said we will do. But he didn't like their being afraid, did he? So through Moses, he says, there is no need to be afraid. They said, we're not too sure about that. The people said, we're amazed we've survived your speaking to us this once, but we don't want to run that risk again. Moses, don't let God speak to us one more time. This terrible fire is going to consume us. You appear to be his friend. You don't seem to be afraid. We're scared. So you go to God. Let him talk to you. And then you come and tell us what he wants, and all that you tell us we will do. And that's how intercession and mediatorial work was set up. They begged for it. And God said, I'd like to talk to you. I talked to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. Don't you want to be my friends? And they said, friends don't shout and roar the way you do. Not understanding why he raised his voice, you see. They didn't understand his plan. Now Moses understood. That's the way it is with a friend. So Moses says, God isn't angry with you. He's just trying to get your attention. And you'll have to admit, it's very difficult. I have enough trouble myself. And so all the way through the Bible, God's had to run the risk of being reverenced from fear. And that's very sad. Like the she-bears, you remember. And the case of Uzzah. Even in the New Testament, Ananias and Sapphira. It's too bad that had to happen. For the early Christians even to take him seriously. Because no one hates the obedience that springs from fear more than God. And it isn't just that he doesn't like it. What human parent would like it? Would you like it if you knew your children were obeying you because they were scared stiff? Especially if you told them, now to obey me means you love me. And they say, we obey you. We love you, Daddy, because we are so scared. It doesn't even make sense. So the next thing is not only that God doesn't like it, he knows it is devastatingly destructive to say you love someone when you're scared stiff, to obey someone out of terror. And Ellen White, with the same insight that inspired that great quotation, says, the obedience that springs from fear produces the character of a rebel. The terrors of the day of God should not lead us to get ready. So it was a matter of great concern to her, yet God ran the risk of being served from fear. Well, don't you think sometimes his display of power and these fearsome words did lead a few people to take him seriously? Then if you'll be quiet, he always says, look, if you take me seriously, you'll be quiet. And then I can talk to you. Then God can say, I do not like talking like this. I prefer the still small voice. Read about Elijah. The wind, earthquake, and fire, those are emergency measures. I prefer to speak softly as I did to Moses. Then when you choose to worship and obey me, you don't do it because you're scared. You do it because you found me to be worthy of your love, trust, and admiration. Isn't it a shame, then, that the God who does not wish to be served from fear has had so many times to talk like this to his people? And it isn't just to Nineveh and the Chaldeans, it's to his own Sabbath-keeping, tithe-paying, health-reforming, blueprint-following Jews that he had to talk like this so they'd take him seriously. Now, when Jesus came, he never talked this way. Well, once in a great while, on the sheep and the goats, he mentioned destruction. Most of the time, he never scared anybody, did he? Now, how much respect did he receive? What he proved is, if you talk softly, don't count on winning the respect of many people. Just a few, like Mary and the thief on the cross and others, respected his gentleness, not his weakness, but recognizing that he was God, that he'd be so gentle was just overwhelming. So when God raised his voice, he ran the risk of people serving him from fear. When he talked softly, he ran the risk of them not revering him enough to listen at all. Now, how can you win that way? Very difficult. Surely teachers know how difficult that is to be right in your field. What do you do with the little ones in the room? If you're very stern, then they'll be still and there'll be respect. But they're scared of you. And what teacher likes that? Besides, it inhibits learning to have them so scared. So then you try to relax, and be a little more gentle with them and let your hair down a wee bit, and then you lose respect. and they're not listening because they don't respect you. How can you keep all due respect in the room without the little ones being afraid? Any teacher that has order and respect in the room and the children still love the teacher, they're worth their weight in gold. I imagine you look for them all over the place. Those are very special people. So God's people, maybe as the end approaches, will want to imitate Christ and be gentle as he was. Paul said, imitate me as I imitate Christ, and he became so gentle, they mocked him for weakness, you remember? Same thing. So we may go through a difficult period. At least in our own hearts, let us know that our gentleness and our meekness is not due to weakness.